G'day my creative crew, what's cracking? It's Ralph here, and this morning we're going to shoot the sunrise over the Sydney Harbour Opera House. It's not actually called the Sydney Harbour Opera House, the Sydney Opera House. Come on! It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Sydney is deserted, and I'm walking along vlogging, trying not to trip over any of the undulating pathways that lead me down to Circular Quay to get the shot that we're after. Stick around, the scenery is going to be sublime, and the shot, well, the shot's going to be epic.
Just not working. Gosh. Oh, it's so good.
Shooting directly, where are we? Is that it? It's not even lit up, is it? Shooting directly at a side-on version of the Opera House. So if you're wondering exactly where it is, it's across the water from the Opera House, just on the point where you then move around to where the bridge is. And if I lived here, or I had like 2 weeks here rather than a couple of days, I would definitely be exploring like multiple sunrise opportunities. But there's one I just can't seem to escape, and we're nearly there. There's a number of exciting compositions to be had around here, but I really like this one. It's framed, as you can see, by the bench seat, looking just across the pier over the end to the Opera House, and as you can see, a ferry's coming past. So I've got a 30-second exposure on that, and we are now going to watch as that goes across this double ferry banger. Nice! And you can see those pinks and purples coming through in the sky. If I underexpose a little bit, we'll become even more brighter and vivid. And then you've got this beautiful leading line of the clouds, a natural leading line into the heart of the Opera House, which is of course our subject today. Let me just show you what that image looks like. Look at that. See, just some reflection here, the lights here. That's a banger. I've only just started, and it's already coming up trumps. I was really excited about this location this morning, and it has not disappointed me, except for the two photographers standing right on the end of the pier. I'm not very excited about that, but excited about everything else. And look, there's the city as it wakes up after its slumber. So here's my plan. I'm going to wait till the sun comes up a bit more, grab a few more colours, and then I'm going to stand right next to those guys, and I'm going to shoot straight toward the Opera House with the reflections in the water. I'm going to keep my shutter speed as slow as I possibly can, which will smooth out the water. But to do that, you have to balance it with your aperture and with your ISO, so as to slightly underexpose and bring out the colours in the sky. So underexposing with a long shutter speed is always a bit of a challenge. When it's really dark, it's easy, but as the light comes up and you have to adjust to that light, it becomes more and more of a challenge. But what I've discovered is shooting iconic landmarks, you need to find somewhere that's creative and interesting. And you know what I might actually do? I might actually go back to the end of this pier. This is a pier and it juts out like so. But if I go right to the end here, that will give me a really nice leading line of these lights and the pier into the Opera House, but also grab all of the beauty of that colour that's coming through. I've decided to retreat, not from the experience, no way, that's not my form at all, but I'm going to go back to here, and you see the leading lines. Look, watch what happens. So you like the leading lines take you away from the Opera House, yeah? They dump you on the left, so you're not watching the Opera House. However, you come just around here and it all shifts and changes, and now they lead you straight to the Opera House. And how's that for a view? Oh my gosh, just spoilt I am. I really am spoilt. Here's an interesting choice. Over the course of this trip, I have tried to shoot on my kit lens as much as I can, which has an aperture of 4. It's a 24-70, which basically means a kit lens is a lens that comes in your kit. I know you can't see it really well, but it's the standard one. Now this is the Nikon Z6 version, but they're all basically the same. Now, the reason I wanted to do that was so that you can do the same thing when you're shooting. So you don't have to have all this fancy gear and all the shooting I've been doing over Sydney the last few days, and I'll put the links at the end of this video and below so you can really go and have a look. All of them have been shot in a 24-70 because I wanted to say to you guys that it's possible for you to take out that DSLR camera that you've got and come and take some amazing shots and just follow these guides, and you'll be set up to do that, because that's what I want to do, is help you become better and better. Now if you want to buy me a coffee because of that, then you can do that below. That'd be epic. But the sun is really starting to light up the sky. There's some pinks and there's some oranges. Look at this. You don't look at my ugly mug, do you? And so here's what we've done. I've exposed like that so we can capture the sea too. And so that shot looks like this. But as you can see, you see all this is all dead space. Look at it. It's all dead space all the way around here, the bottom, which is nice. It creates a bit of a tunnel, but it's too much. So I am realizing that there's more color happening in the sky. You can see that, see up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point my camera up and capture less of the reflection but more of that color in the sky, and I'm going to do it now rather than talk to you. Check it out, get some ferry action as it sort of wanders past. They intersect. Oh, let's go again. Oh, this will be good because that big one is humming along. Look at that beast, it's flying. Woo-hoo! And it creates these beautiful light streaks across the bottom of the opera house. Now the other thing I've done is I was shooting on 24 and it was too wide. You had all that dead space all the way around the side. So I've punched in more to get this shot. And I'm just going to bang it off again whilst that ferry comes, because it won't be long until we lose the light contrast. So at the moment it's this beautiful spot between the colors coming through in the sky and the darkness of the light still being able to be seen. I'm shooting on a aperture of about 20 because, actually my aperture is 22 and a 20-second exposure, because what I really want to do is capture some of those light bursts if at all possible. But I'm stoked with that. That's so nice. Now I'm really going to punch in on the opera house, and that's going to really, see that? Oh, I'm not even going to change anything. I'm just going to, boom. Oh, and I get a ferry too. Look guys, I got a ferry. It's taken me about a week to say ferry instead of fairy, because I've got kids. And when you say, we're going on a ferry ride, they love it. They're a bit sick of it now. It entertains me a little bit. Here we go. What do we get? Oh, see, look at that. Look how sick that looks. Just these flash lines and the beautiful colors coming through. You see that color? It's a little bit pale. And I want punchier color. So I'm going to underexpose by 2 stops. And there's a massive ferry coming. And so this shot I should be stoked with. There's the ferry as it wanders past. And so I'm going to wait till it's in shot. Now my shot starts there, so when it gets to there, I'm going to hit it. I get 6 seconds. I'm going to actually wait till it's fully in frame, because if I don't do that, I will run out of time before the ferry passes. So the ferry is now coming into view. It's a long one, which is really epic. So if I allow it to go all the way till it's on screen, and I go now, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, click, and I go again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I go again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason I'm doing this, guys, is if you count, you can predict when the camera's going to be finished and take another shot. And that is important because otherwise you'll lose time. If you lose time on a light trail, you get these big gaps. Small gaps we can compensate for. Big gaps are a bit more of an issue. Want to see what I got? Oh, it looks like the Australian flash. Look at that. Oh, yes. That one, folks. You couldn't do it any better. And you saw how I did it, right? It's just fluke. Seriously, so much of photography is you got your skills and you got your artistic approach, and then it's just luck of the draw of what happens when you're shooting on the day. So as you can see, that shot with the ferry was just about fluky timing, right? People say, yeah, you were just brilliant. Well, they won't say that about me, but they'll look at a photo in a shop and go, oh, that's incredible. But honestly, if you know your camera and you have those skills, you get the right composition and you're at a place at the right time, so much stuff happens in situ that you can make the most of because you have the confidence in what you're able to do. And so if you're out there, you're like, I never seem to get those great shots. Know your camera. Learn to compose more creatively by using rules of thirds or leading lines or a whole host of other things. I'll put a video at the end of this about how to compose different shots that might help you out. And if you know that and you just wait in a location, it gets better and better and better, and you see these things that you never saw before, these crazy things happen. You're like, oh, this is brilliant, I can make the most of this. And then you can make the most of it. Like this morning. Here's what's really interesting about this morning. You see these colors are now fading. It's sunrise like right now. So we now shift in our thinking from how do we capture the colors of the sky to how do we capture the sun against Sydney Harbour, right? And they're very different shots, because one, you're looking at trying to get a sunburst, so that sun piercing through somewhere here. I actually think the sun's going to rise just over here, but we will see what happens. It's just a waiting game now. For the next 15 minutes, we'll know, and then it's like I'm going home from some brekkie. You know, I was talking about stuff changing and shifting all the time. Watch what's happened here. See, right up top is that grey white cloud. See that? So what I've decided to do is go for more of a silhouette shot of the Opera House, and it has that beautiful cloud coming in over the top with some color still in here in the orange, and you've got a little bit of a pier hinting at the fact you should look straight. And with 4 seconds the water smooths out nicely, and I could even smooth it out a bit more in post if I wanted to. So like I said, keep your eyes open and adapt to what the circumstances are. Like for example, you see over here, look at those clouds, and they just look So what I'm going to do now is go on a landscape, and then I'm going to go wider still. I'm going to capture all of this sky. It sort of holds in the Opera House. I really like that. It's clever. Very clever, God. So now I'm going to walk back to where I was previously, because that pink in the sky is just looking divine. She's going to create some even more interesting compositions that I'm going to pull out. The first of which is back to my bench to see if those colors off the wooden panels really make the shot epic. So there's this cool effect you can do. Instead of underexposing to pull out the color, so look, underexposed pulls out the color, but if you overexpose, you get this beautiful pastel finish. And as your shutter speed increases, it actually smooths out the water too. Let's have the smoothed out water here, and then you have this beautiful pinks and purples, just really creamy and milky. That was on 2 seconds at f/22 and 100 ISO. Now I normally wouldn't go at f-stop of 22, but the reason I've done that today is simply because I don't have my filter kit with me that I did bring down from Gold Coast and chose to leave at home for some ridiculous reason I'm still not sure of. Anyway, I might put the zoom lens on and have a crack at the space in here. beautiful morning. This is my first time ever photographing the sunrise at Sydney Harbour, let alone behind the Opera House, and I just feel spoilt. I feel like I have benefited more so than most other people on the planet this morning. It was just glorious and spectacular, and you never quite know how it's going to go. All the apps and the research you do doesn't quite pan out on the day, so you have to be adaptable. You have to keep your eyes open to see what's going on, and you also have to pause and stop and really enjoy the beauty of what's taking place. So if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring the bell, shout me a coffee if you want. I don't care. This is a new thing I'm doing. See ya. There's nobody around. You'll be able to see at the end of this video